This week has been another huge one in the world of AI. We have warning of existential risk from almost everyone in the world of AI. We have people getting their hands on Google's search generative experience for the first time, massive announcements from Adobe and Nvidia, and a Google announcement that's flown under the radar. It's been a busy week. First up, this 22-word statement from almost everyone in the world of AI. Mitigating the risk of extinction from AI should be a global priority alongside other societal scale risks such as pandemics and nuclear war. Signed by a true who's who of everyone in the world of AI. We have founders and CEOs of Google DeepMind, OpenAI, Anthropic. We have leadership from Microsoft. We have AI researchers. Whilst the previous open letter to pause research on AI had a lot of people involved, this one is the most unilateral statement we've seen so far from the leaders in the world of artificial intelligence. Whilst on the surface this seems very noble, what's it really all about and what are these people actually hoping to achieve? After all, the signatories on this letter understand the technology better than anybody else on the planet, have more power to shape the technology and its speed, have more resources to deploy on this than anyone else, have access to the best minds, and in reality know more about this than anybody else on the planet. There is literally nobody on Earth better placed to action this recommendation than the signatories of this letter. So if the people who are building nuclear weapons started shouting into the air that they think the existential risk of nuclear weapons needs to be addressed, or water companies pumping raw sewage into our rivers started writing open letters to governments about how they needed to do more to stop water companies pumping raw sewage into rivers, we'd think that they were hypocrites. One of the most exciting developments in the world of AI recently has been Google's efforts to build generative AI into its search results, because this is one of the use cases that will touch the most people, being embedded in a tool that we are all using every day. As someone who works in the world of search marketing with my agency Exposure Ninja, I've been really keen to see how Google is deploying this. So of course, as people started testing it and posting their results, I was desperate to see how it's working. So far, let me show you some examples. And these all taken from SEO commentator Barry Schwartz, who shared these examples on Twitter. So here you can see that he's searched for haircuts near me, and he's got a bunch of results generated by the AI. We can see there are 5 results, and we can see they're shown on a map here. We've also got these sort of snippets of reviews which relate to some of these businesses. And we can see the generative AI has made an attempt at writing descriptions of each of these businesses. Okay, just checking. Is this definitely better than what Google already does for this search, namely this? Because with this, you actually get a whole bunch of additional information, which is pretty useful. You get the address, you get the phone number, you get their opening times, you get snippets of their reviews, and you can either click through to get directions or you can click through to directly visit their website. If you want more businesses, then you can click this and you can see all of them on a map. You can filter them by rating, you can filter them by opening hours, and you can sort by distance from a particular point. And if you don't like what you see in the map, you can see organic results here. Is this definitely better? Or what about this one where Barry's asked, what medicine do I take for a headache? Generative AI has given him this answer, starting with the caveat, a medical expert like a doctor is best able to help you find the information and care that you need. This information does not constitute medical advice or diagnosis. It's then given some suggestions of drugs to take, another recommendation to see your doctor, and then some alternative ways to relieve your headache. But I can't get over this warning at the start. A medical expert like a doctor is best able to help you find the information and care that you need. Because if you search regular Google without the generative AI, guess what you get? Medical recommendations from not just one doctor, but a whole bunch of them. So Google's kind of pushed the doctor recommendations and instead shown generative AI information, despite the fact that, as we know, large language models can be prone to hallucinations. Is that definitely better? Or check out this one. I got locked out of my car, what should I do? Generative AI has given some great suggestions, although things do start to get a little bit weird. But check this out. Here's the featured snippet, which actually gives these recommendations. Again, is this definitely better than the organic results it's pushing down? Now, of course, this is only for some searches, and there are definitely some searches where the generative AI answers are really useful. But as an absolute AI geek and a lover of search, I can't help feeling that generative AI could be so much more powerfully deployed on Google if it was used for the things that it's really good at. Namely, coming up with original answers for questions based on taking information from lots of different sources, or running parallel queries in the background, then piecing all of these together to give a really useful and detailed bespoke answer to a very long and specific question. To be honest, I don't see the value of serving generative AI answers for a whole bunch of these questions, which are already served perfectly well by ordinary Google organic results. Not everyone agrees though. Even some people inside Exposure Ninja really like some of these search generative results, and plenty of commentators say, yes, we absolutely love it. But what do you think? Let me know in the comments. If you want to keep up to date with the latest goings on in the world of AI, but you don't have time to scan through all the news articles, you just want the most relevant things to your business, then subscribe to the Powered by AI newsletter at pbai.co. You'll get a curated list of the most important updates each week sent to your email inbox so you can take care of business without worrying about FOMO. Next, we have a big announcement from Google DeepMind, which has flown under the radar for a lot of people because on the surface, it doesn't seem that exciting. Google has released the Flamingo visual language model, which basically understands what's showing in a video like a YouTube short and writes a description of this. Who cares, right? Well, actually, this is pretty important because if you think about it, what do most TikToks and YouTube shorts have in common? They're very short and they're produced very quickly, which means they often lack detailed descriptions or titles which demonstrate what's in that video. Now, we saw recently how Google plans to use perspectives to show useful videos, particularly short form videos like YouTube Shorts and TikToks, in the search results to help you find information that you need when you want to see someone's opinion on a topic. But how is it going to compile, understand, and rank all of these short form videos unless it has technology like this working in the background to understand the content of each one? So whilst on the surface this might seem like a bit of a boring nothing burger, actually this is the technology that I think is going to power a new generation of search, one where short form video results are much more relevant and tailored to the query that you're asking. This could be how Google fends off the threat of users using TikTok for search, and it could give businesses a whole new way to get found by potential customers. So it's one that we're really keeping an eye on. Next up, Adobe's generative fill features that they're showing off in Photoshop. Now, there are plenty of demos online of people taking images, expanding their borders to turn them into different orientations, or in this case, adding different elements into a picture using text prompting. While some of the demos are patchy, clearly this shows huge potential. Why do we care? Well, I think that this demonstrates another case of the tools that people are used to using all the time having generative AI components added in. At the start of the AI boom, way back at the beginning of 2023, all sorts of software companies were popping up, building their own generative AI tools to help us do things like create images or write copy. But as this technology becomes more freely available, we're seeing the major software players build generative AI into their tools as standard. So all these predictions of Midjourney just killed Photoshop, well, no, it didn't. Or this AI spreadsheet software just killed Google Sheets. Well, no, it didn't. And this looks like a trend that will continue as all of these large companies are able to invest way more budget in building out their AI offerings. Next up, a couple of big announcements from Nvidia. First up, a demonstration of generative AI in games where you can have conversations with NPCs. Pretty cool, and you can see how this will make the gaming experience more immersive, particularly as games move towards AR and VR in the future. But this pales into insignificance compared to the announcement of Nvidia's new AI-focused supercomputer, the DGX GH200. This is powered by 256 of their GH200 Grace Hopper superchips, which have now entered production. So why do we care? Well, these chips and this supercomputer promise way more capability and faster training of large AI models. With Google, Meta, and Microsoft all lined up to be early customers of this, these supercomputers should unlock capabilities to build and train larger models than ever before, faster than ever before. Now, these supercomputers won't be available before the end of 2023, so we should expect to see nothing built using these until at least mid-2024 at the earliest. But nevertheless, this is a reminder that the boundaries of the current AI models that we are used to will not exist forever. Larger, more powerful models are coming. And finally, now you know how OpenAI's Sam Altman has been banging the regulation drum for months now, requesting governments to regulate AI. He even showed up in Congress explaining some of the ways that this regulation could happen. He proposed a new agency to be formed to license AI companies. Presumably, of course, OpenAI would have a license. Maybe some of the competitors might not. But it has become cool for AI CEOs to request regulation. Well, finally, he got his wishes. The EU outlined their planned AI Act, and Sam took a look. What was his response? Oh, he threatened that OpenAI would pull out of the EU. Sure, we want regulation, but not that regulation. Now, don't worry, the OpenAI public relations team were quick to encourage Sam to issue a retraction tweet explaining how excited OpenAI were to continue operating in Europe and make sure that we knew they had no plans to leave. Thanks for watching. See you next week.